Seven planes of consciousness. There are 7 planes of consciousness. At the first is food and body. At the second is pleasure. At the third is respect. At the fourth is family. At the fifth is creativity. At the sixth is healing. And at the seventh is love. First plane of consciousness, energy materialists. People operating at the first plane of consciousness are called energy materialists. Their focus is their body and material possessions. They get trapped thinking that they are a body. They forget that they are a soul traveling on earth for a limited time, and body is just like a spacesuit that our soul is wearing for its earth travel. They constantly think of food. As soon as they finish their meal, they start obsessing and dreaming what they would eat in the next meal. They are obsessed with looking beautiful. To gain love and attention, they obsess about clothes, shoes, jewelry, makeup. They spend unbalanced hours in gym or yoga studios in order to gain perfectly fit and beautiful bodies. Many of these individuals carry a deep hurt from childhood, when they felt judged by their friends and family. Many remarks about the height, shape, color could have hurt them, and that led to unhealing of their mind. Focus on food and body is important. We all need healthy and fit bodies to gain our human experience. Eating well and exercising is important. But obsession with body can become harmful. It could lead to lack of focus on other important pursuits of life. Second plane of consciousness, energy gratifiers. People operating at the second plane of consciousness are called energy gratifiers. They are driven by pleasure. Desire for pleasure starts young. A child who is given a choice to study or play outdoors will choose play. Desire to play is natural to all humans. In childhood, we pleasure ourselves with games, art, music, colors, clay, or doing role play with puppets. A child can find pleasure in simple things in life. As we edge towards teenage, these activities of childhood seem to diminish and we are pushed towards earning grades and left brain subjects like maths, language, and science. The boring left brain school system take away the joy of learning and we start looking for pleasure elsewhere. By late teens and early 20s, when we enter college, art and music is completely diminished from our lives. Slowly, the definition of fun changes, and we start driving pleasure in alcohol, sex, and drugs. Slowly, these sex, alcohol, and drugs, the triple combination, becomes an addictive pattern, and that stays with most of us for the rest of our lives. Pleasure is an important aspect of human experience. A healthy relationship with our partner will naturally lead to lovemaking, which is a very powerful healing tool. Similarly, a balanced experience with alcohol can calm a stressed mind. Even smoking pot can be sometimes good for our hearts. The problem is when these become obsessive behaviors and lead to addictive patterns. Third plane of consciousness, energy regulators. People operating at the third plane of consciousness are driven by the desire for respect via money, power, and fame. They are called energy regulators. Society today celebrates the powerful, the rich, and the famous, millionaires and billionaires. It is these energy holders and abusers who get all the attention in the media. The silent light workers get no or very little attention from the media. A child does not understand the concept of success and achievement, but when they see their elders doing hero worshipping, these fallen gods, they subconsciously get programmed to follow the footsteps of rich and the famous. The hidden suffering of these celebrities hardly comes out. Behind the facade of fame and fortune lies the unhappy and unhealthy lives of these achievers. Behind the curtain is hours of alcohol and drug abuse and also a deep sense of loneliness. Most jobs in the society today are corporate jobs of the industrial and the information age. These jobs, though make money and give fame and power to people, they do not satisfy a soul's creative pursuit. They are very close to the modern form of slavery. These corporate jobs leave a void in people, and this void they fill by focusing on numbers. These numbers could be how much money in the bank, how many people have heard of their, how many people they can manage. For us to truly earn respect, one has to be a creator. Jobs of creation are few now, as most jobs of creation are being taken over by machines. But still, there are enough creation jobs available. A farmer creating food, an inventor creating product, an artist creating art, a musician creating a song, a writer creating a new thought pattern, and an entrepreneur creating a new company are examples of creation. Fourth plane of consciousness, energy integrators. A family unit key responsibility is to nurture and give love to its various members. The responsibility of nurturing and love is often held by the mother or the women of the family unit. The father's role is to go out and bring energy to the family unit. Mother's task is to nurture and maintain the love energy. She is the integrator and redistributor of the energy. A family unit may have a father operating at the fourth consciousness, a child at the second consciousness, another child at the fifth consciousness. Mother's role is to integrate these various energies and keep the unit together. Girls in their childhood are often read fairy tales of Cinderella or Rapunzel, where she is saved by the charming prince. Through these stories, girls get subconsciously programmed to find a mate who is wealthy and powerful, who will nurture and love her. Subconsciously, she is looking for a boy who is healed at the third consciousness. He has wealth, power, and money. He is healed at the fifth consciousness. He is a creative artist, a musician, dancer, or writer. Also, he is healed at the sixth consciousness. He has a healing energy. Basically, a girl is looking for a man who has physical and mental strength of a warrior, wealth of a king, and sensitivity of an artist. To find such a man who is healed at all levels of consciousness is difficult but not impossible. The issue is most boys who are born in rich families become unhealed by the time they're adults. Most of them, due to excess wealth, get into addictions. Men who are born in higher planes of consciousness, who are creative artists, often stay poor and struggle to manifest money. A mother's job is difficult. She's energy balancer. Sometimes she might lose her way in pursuit of luxury and push her male counterpart to focus on money, power, and fame, and if he fulfills her wish, only then she nurtures him. Fifth plane of consciousness, energy manifestors. People operating at the fifth plane of consciousness are driven by creative pursuits. They channel the divine energy and make things manifest in the physical dimension. Hence, we call them energy manifestors. They're driven by art, music, dance, knowledge, literature, drama, design, science, and innovation. They like to work alone by themselves at their own pace. Their lonely disposition makes them misfits in groups. They heal people by their creations. An artist heals others by her art, a musician by her song. Similarly, a designer, a carpenter, a glass artist, a writer, or a dancer heals people by their individual gifts. Most of the artists in their initial formative years are pure to their craft. Slowly, they start attracting fame, money, and power. Many of them are not able to handle this sudden access to money, power, and fame. They often get trapped in the energy misuse, either become energy hoarders or energy abusers or both. They get trapped in an endless cycle of drug addiction, sex addiction, alcohol addiction, gambling, prostitution. Many of them are not able to come out of the trap. Some of them, through willpower, pull themselves out of the darkness of these addictive patterns. They get help from the spiritual and energy healers of the sixth consciousness to get out of the addictions to money, power, and fame, alcohol, sex, drugs, prostitution, and gambling. Once they are healed, they manifest the healing journey of other creative people around them. Sixth plane of consciousness, energy channelers. People operating at the sixth plane of consciousness are healers. They channel the divine energy to heal others. Hence, we call them energy channelers. A healer may heal at the physical, emotional, thought, or spiritual level. They are driven by self-knowledge and wisdom. They travel inwards via help of meditation. They also love traveling outwards, especially in nature and places that are energy centers where past masters meditated and prayed. Many gifted healers are never formally trained. They bring the gift from their past lives. In present life, many stumbled upon the gift of healing, often perpetuated by difficult family situations or difficult personal situations. In their pursuit to heal themselves, they end up acquiring healing skills and eventually go on to enable healing in their extended circles. Some of the healers can also become corrupt when fame, money, or power hits them. In the recent years, media has brought forth news of many yogis and godmen who could not handle power. Instead of healing their students, who were women or children, they became their abusers. Some healers also become corrupt by becoming prideful of their knowledge and status in the society. This pride is called spiritual arrogance. It brings the attitude of know-it-all. The quality of an ideal healer is that she is extremely loving, highly skillful in his craft, humble and surrendered to the divine will. Seventh plane of consciousness, energy magnets. When a person transcends all six levels of consciousness and operates at the seventh level, they become pure unconditional love. They become energy magnets. They become detached witness to the world, and ups and downs of life do not affect them as much. They are no more driven by selfish desires, but only one desire to be. At seventh plane of consciousness, they start seeing oneness in everything. They lose anger and pride and become true servants of the divine energy.